Well, it's broke. Ford's J3400 or Tesla 2 CCS adapter is officially broken after less than 10 uses, give or take. But that's okay because it's getting replaced. Let's dive in and let's talk about it. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tech Motoring. Paul here with another episode of Between the EVs. I think that's the name we're going with this segment. So I haven't done one of these videos in a while, and I've just been extremely busy. September was a crazy month, and October, well, the beginning of October really wasn't any different. So it's been a struggle for me to try to get out one video a week, let alone multiple. And this one's a very interesting one because it recently affected a road trip of ours in the Mach-e. And so this I have in my hands is the Ford, the one that Ford gave us, Tesla or J3400, NACS, whatever, to the CCS adapter. Now this is the one that Ford sent me back when I ordered this in, I don't know what it was, March of this year. When I pre-ordered this or ordered this from Ford, I finally got it sometime in the beginning of June or somewhere around that point, and immediately tested the adapter, used it, went on a couple of road trips since then and have used this adapter, but I can't say that I've used it more than 10 times. I think would probably be a slightly larger number than what we've actually used this. So thinking about that, on our way back from Florida, which if you haven't seen that video, we just recently road tripped our Ford Mustang Mach-e from here in Myrtle Beach all the way down to Orlando, Florida. Some friends of ours joined us on a really long week road trip down there to spend some time and get some rest, and I don't know, getting some rest is really the right way of saying it. We were at parks for pretty much the entire week. But we went down there to Orlando, had a great time. And on the way down, if you haven't seen the video, we actually just relied on public CCS infrastructure. And what I mean by that is we used Electrify America, we used ChargePoint, or whatever else was available for us except for Tesla superchargers. Even though we could use them with this adapter, I wanted to do this little experiment going down and using other public infrastructure, kind of doing a comparison between that and that of a Tesla supercharger, and that we were going to do the Tesla supercharger ones on the way back. So on the way back, we did do Tesla superchargers. Now we stopped a total of 2 times, and I'm kind of ruining the video for you. The video will be coming out in the near future. I'll have the return trip very soon. But we did a return trip back from Orlando, Florida with the Tesla adapter here, to Tesla 2 CCS adapter from Ford. We used the Ford one. And we hit our first stop with the adapter, plugged the supercharger into it, plugged it into the car. Boom, plug and charge activated. It ramped up to its very, unfortunately, a peak of about 110 kilowatts in the Ford Mustang Mach-e, because this is the small battery Mach-e, so that's why we don't have great charging curves in it. But it did ramp up to its normal expected charging rate, and then we charged our vehicle at that first stop. Now, once we were done, we took the adapter off of that supercharging handle, threw it into the car, so keep in mind that it's now in a climate-controlled vehicle, and then we drove for about 2.5 or so hours to the next charger. And so we got to our second and only, our last supercharger for the trip. We only needed to stop twice. And so we got to that supercharger, did the same exact thing. Took out the handle, plugged it into the adapter, plugged the adapter into the car, plug and charge kicked on, everything looked good, and we walked away from the car. Now, it wasn't until about 15 minutes later that I looked on the Ford app on my phone and noticed that we were only getting about 40 kilowatts, which I thought was really interesting. So at this point, I have to assume that it's either a couple of things. Either one, the connection between the supercharging handle and the adapter wasn't good, or maybe from the adapter to the car. Okay, that can happen. Maybe the supercharger was having issues. sometimes you get a bad Tesla stall and you have to move to get better or, the proper amount of flow of electricity. And so I thought that that could have been a possibility. So we unplugged, replugged everything back in, plugged it back into the car, and I only got about somewhere between 10 to 15 kilowatts at that point, which is even worse, which was even more concerning. And so we did a couple things to troubleshoot the issue. We eventually moved over a stall when there was an opening from another Model Y that had just recently left. So we moved the mach-e over a spot, plugged into that one, used the adapter again, and sure enough, would you believe, we still were only getting about 15 kilowatts, give or take a few. And I thought, that is really weird. Maybe there's just something going on here with either the supercharging station, maybe the car was like too hot because it wasn't really preconditioning to get to the supercharger because we had to manually put in these addresses in the Ford navigation as opposed to just picking the chargers in the Ford navigation, which then it knows how to precondition itself. So I was thinking it could have been a couple of these things. And then I ended up, thankfully I was smart enough to bring our secondary adapter. We brought our Electron Adapter, one that I did a review on recently, and I've tested that adapter. It seems pretty stable. I like it. I happen to have it in the frunk of the Mach-E when we went on this road trip. And so I didn't think I was going to need it, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was going to make a difference at this point. So I grabbed Electron Adapter. I did the same process, plugging it into the vehicle, and would you believe it, it immediately ramped right up to maximum speed. All right, so we ended up switching over to our Electron Adapter here, and this one seems to be getting us a much better experience now. We're doing a little bit over 100 kilowatts through that adapter. So I don't know, maybe we either, put a little bit too much on that adapter to last stop, but it did have multiple hours of rest in the car, air conditioning and whatnot, so I'm not sure why that would be the case. Maybe it was just coincidence, I'm not really sure. I also thought that maybe since we weren't going to a supercharger on the navigation, that maybe it was just the battery was not preconditioned and the battery was too hot to accept a high rate of charge. But overall, changing out the adapter seemed to work in this particular situation. So I'm not sure what that is all about, but we can hear the cable cooling is working properly. It sounds like it's ramping down now, typical Mach-E charging curve there. But yeah, all right, we'll be back on the road hopefully in the next 15 minutes or so. And so this got me a little bit concerned about this adapter at that point, the official Ford Tesla to CCS adapter. And I thought, well, no, it can't be the adapter. I barely used the thing. And on top of that, it's an official product. It's an official adapter. How could this go bad so quickly? Lo and behold, just yesterday, October, let's see what yesterday was, the 18th, I'll be releasing this video a couple days later, but on October 18th, I received an email from Ford, and in that email, it says that you are one of the people that just so happened to get an adapter that has a potential defect in it. And basically what that means is that there was a specific batch of these adapters that were sent out that could be defective, or most likely will be defective eventually, depending on your usage. And like I said, I've only used mine for maybe less than 10 times. And keeping in mind that we're not pushing that much power through it. This car pretty much maxes out at about 120 kilowatts, and that's for a very short while on this battery. So we're only using maybe half, less than half of what this adapter is rated to handle, and yet we still had a defect. And so that's why I kind of urge a lot of people how important these adapters are, not just for consistency and charging up your vehicle when you need it, but also for safety, because these adapters need to be safe. One of those things that you have to consider being an EV driver is, do you have the possibility of having an adapter that is subpar, that may not hold up, and could potentially cause damage to not only the car, but also those around it, because you just never know nowadays with this much electricity going through these adapters, any type of issues that can arise, and somebody could potentially be hurt. Now, what does this mean for me? Well, that means that I'm going to be getting shipped a brand new, hopefully non-defective adapter from Ford to replace this one. And they are requesting this one back, which I have no problem doing. I'm sure they might break these down, verify the issues, and obviously make the issue go away and make the product even better, even though I'm sure they've already gotten enough of these back to probably determine this. But it was interesting, the timing of this issue. So it was just about 3 to 4 weeks ago that we had the issue with our adapter, where the adapter failed on us, or not necessarily failed, but derated itself while doing a charging session. And so within a month's time of me experiencing the issue, they have now issued a, it's not a recall, they're not considering this a recall, but they're considering this a just basically a product replacement. And so they'll be sending me a new adapter. I will be sending them this one back. I will be probably doing a video on the new adapter as well. And then we will go ahead and see how that new adapter works over the course of time. We will continue to roll this Mach-e on road trips. We absolutely love this car for road trips, and we're not going to slow down by any means. So we'll be taking this on more road trips in the future. We'll be utilizing the Tesla supercharger network even more. And yeah, this adapter, not this particular adapter, but the new adapter we get will be in the car at all times for that. And so what does this mean for you? Well, if you're a Mach-e owner and you have one of these adapters, but you didn't get that email, that's okay. That means that you most likely have an adapter that is not a problem adapter. It's perfectly fine. They just happen to have a bad batch, and I just happen to be part of one of those people that got one from that bad batch. And I'm glad it was me, because if it was a lot of other people out there, they might not have even realized or noticed that there could be an issue with their adapter. They might have continued to use it, not realizing that the speeds weren't that good. They're wondering why they're at the charger for an hour, hour and a half, charging up their car at, you know, sub 40 kilowatts. And so I'm kind of glad it happened to me, because I've got to experience it firsthand, and it got me thinking. And I was about getting around to testing this adapter, because we had just gotten home. I didn't get a chance to test the adapter. We've been running around like crazy doing other things. We just got back from a road trip to Tennessee in the Model 3. Those videos will be coming soon. And I never got a chance to actually test the adapter. And I actually say in the video, the Mach-e return video, that I haven't got a chance to test the adapter yet. And that's true, because I hadn't. But now it looks like I don't even have to, because I kind of know what's going to happen. I'm going to plug it in. I'm probably going to get really poor speeds. And Ford has even said, please do not use the adapters anymore. And I will follow their recommendations here, and I will not utilize this adapter, even for testing purposes. It's not worth the chance. Because all in all, this is still my personal property, and I want to try to treat it as best as possible. And well, let's face it, I don't make enough money on this channel to be fixing up my cars out of pocket. Let's put it that way. But very interesting. If you have an adapter, check out for your email, check out through the Ford Pass app. Make sure that you have a notification that says you need to get a new adapter. You will need to check your address to verify that you're still at the same address from when you got this adapter. So this way they know where to send the replacement adapter. You will be sending back your old adapter. If you haven't gotten an email, I just want to reiterate this, you are not one of the people affected by this product replacement. So yeah, interesting story that we have, and you're going to see the video of our return trip back in the Mach-e in a couple of weeks. And then that's going to answer the question as to why I'm sitting there stumped going, but why does Electron Adapter work perfectly fine? We now know the reason for that. Anyway, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I hope this video helps you out. I hope it brings some attention to this issue in case you didn't get an email, or maybe you saw other people that got an email and you were like, hey, wait a minute, why am I not getting this email? Why am I not getting a new adapter? Because it's not all the adapters. It's not every single person that's affected by this. It's only a certain group. We don't know the numbers yet. We don't know how many it's going to be. And could it be more in the future? Yeah, maybe if you have one of these adapters and it's not affected by this particular replacement, maybe in the future it could be. As soon as they do the research to figure out which parts are defective, and they find the right batches and the batch numbers, then the pieces that went into each of these adapters, if they notify or if they notice an issue with those adapters, they might extend this product replacement out even more. And so keep an eye out for your email. Make sure your information's up to date in your Ford profile. Make sure if you did get an email from Ford about this, check your information and they will send you out an adapter. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, make sure you give it the thumbs up just below. If you're new to the channel, if you just so happen to come across this channel about this adapter issue, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you must be a mach-e enthusiast, or maybe a Ford F-150 Lightning enthusiast. Either way, subscribe to the channel. We got some pretty awesome road trip videos and videos in general for the Mustang Mach-E. Thank you very much again for watching. I know I say thank you all the time, but I really do mean it from the bottom of my heart out to every single one of you watching this video. I really appreciate you watching it, especially to the very end, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Hit that subscribe button again, and we'll see you soon. And remember, welcome to the future, and welcome to Tech Motoring.